Hey, what's up YouTube? JD back to hang out with you. This week I'm not doing a video about current events like I normally would. I know it's been a couple weeks. Somebody told me, hey, you haven't put a video up in a while. With the holidays and football and everything, I've been kind of sidetracked and haven't really put much focus into doing videos. So this will be my first big video back. It might be a two-parter. We'll see how it goes. Normally also I don't go off a script or any kind of printouts, but for this video I went ahead and organized my thoughts on paper so I could make sure I touched everything. So what I'm talking about this week is the phrase proud to be an American. Now, there's a lot of things that people can say they're proud of, a lot of things that people feel pride about, but proud to be an American is one of those things where you got to be careful how you say it or what the meaning behind it is. And there's so many different ways of thinking that you're proud of something, but if you really think about it, you'll find out you're really not that proud about it. I was watching George Carlin the other night, and he basically made a joke about that. He said, I really hate them guys that say they're proud to be Irish or proud to be American or proud to be German or whatever ethnicity they may happen to be, because they didn't do anything to be proud of. They were born that way by mistake or by accident or by fate. They didn't work to become that. It's just something that was. So there's no pride behind that because they didn't accomplish anything. And that's pretty funny, he put it that way, but there's a deeper meaning behind it if you look at it. So what I want to do is I'm gonna look at that a little bit more. I'm gonna go into details. When you say you're proud to be an American, that has a lot of weight behind it because of what America stands for or stood for. Growing up, I used to say it all the time. I was proud to be born in this country because of our freedoms and because of our liberties and because our government is supposed to be a democratic government and limited to the power that we give them. And I spent some time in the armed forces, and I tried to get on with the local police department because I thought being an American meant giving back to the community and helping others out, and that's what I was trying to do. Didn't work out for me, but that's okay, and that's not my path, I guess. So today we're going to talk about this phrase a little more in depth and see if you're still proud to be an American after this video. I will make a follow-up video looking at things from a different angle than this one, so just bear with me and think about what I say. Alright, so first, proud to be an American. That means that you're proud of where America came from, or where America is, and where America is going. And can you honestly say that you are? Can you say you're proud to be an American with everything that's happened and everything that is? I don't know. Growing up I was ignorant to the history of this country because I didn't really, even though I did well in history, I didn't put much thought behind it. I just did it to get through the class. But the more I, think about things and the more I look at things from different perspectives, it's hard to say you're proud of where this country came from. My my background is American Indian and European, mostly Irish, I believe. I'd have to do more research to verify, but I'm pretty sure it's English, Irish, and Native American. And the Native American side, to me, is a side to be proud of. And the European side, not so much. And for most of Americans, that's where we are because we're split down the middle. And that's because of the joining of the cultures when this country was formed. And it took a long time, obviously, for that to happen. Hundreds of years it took for all the cultures to combine. But to say you're proud to be an American means you're proud of what this country was formed from and why it was formed. And part of it you can be proud of because the settlers that came here from England were trying to escape tyranny and a monarchy and dictatorship and religious oppression, and they were trying to do something right. They were trying to give people the ability to be free the way they were meant to be. But unfortunately, there's a downside to everything. And in this country, our beginnings are the downside. See, when the settlers came here to escape all of this, they found out that this country was already inhabited. When you say land of the free, home of the brave, you know, that's something that goes back to before the English settlers came here, because the Native Americans were here long before we were. And they were free, and they were brave, and they lived off the land, and the tribe took care of itself. And for the most part, they were a peaceful people. They had set, spiritual guidelines they followed. They had elders they followed. Men, boys, they hunted, they fished, they provided for the tribe. The women took care of children, made the clothing. It was in sync. It was taken care of. Everybody took care of everybody, and there was no government. There was no mandatory leadership. There was none of this. It was just people surviving in a peaceful way. Now, I know the different tribes had hostility with each other, but for the most part, inside each tribe was a peaceful community. And when the settlers came, obviously the Native Americans opened their arms, and they showed these settlers how to survive off the land. They showed them how to survive amongst each other without a government. And when the government was formed, it was formed to be a mediator. It was there to help regulate laws that were passed by the people. But the Native Americans, being the peaceful people they were, didn't see what was coming. They didn't realize that the English settlers, who was running from tyranny, would turn around and terrorize them. Didn't realize they would turn around and steal their lands and desecrate their burial grounds and steal their property and sell it off. They didn't realize that tens and thousands of Native Americans would die on a march west so that the white people could put the Indians on reservations and do as they pleased with the land. It took a long time for the U.S. government to decide that they realized, they screwed up and that they treated the Native Americans wrong, and they try to fix it by giving them tax-free casinos. Well, you can't repay what was done. You can't give back the stolen land. You can't fix the burial grounds. All of this was done to the Native Americans without any second thought, without any hesitation. They did exactly to the Indians what was done to them, what they were fleeing. And now, we're supposed to say we're proud to be Americans. How can you be proud of people that would treat another culture in that way? This country is built off stolen land. This country is built on desecrated grounds. How do you find yourself being proud of that? How do you fix that? You can't. What's done is done, and it'll never be fixed. It'll always remain in history as a blemish on this country. And being part Native American, it pisses me off that people from my past would treat other people from my past in that nature. But I'm supposed to be proud of that, right? So that's one example of what being American stands for. But it didn't stop with the Indians. It didn't stop there at all. If you continue through our history, the next thing that we come to is the Africans that were brought here on slave ships, and the indentured servants that were brought here. Their complete life was taken from them. They were enslaved and kept and treated like crap. They were made to work from morning till night. Their women were separated from them, and they were enslaved also. The prettiest ones were kept in the houses, of course, and used as sex slaves. They were raped and beaten and tortured, treated like shit for hundreds of years. Native Americans were robbed and stolen and killed. The blacks were robbed of their dignity and their respect and their lives, and they were treated like shit. And it wasn't until the mid-1900s that we started realizing, you know what? This isn't right. We need to change it. But it should have never have happened, because we came here as settlers to give people freedom, to give people their lives back. And we turned right around and did to them what was done to every other culture across the world. Just like in ancient Egypt when the slaves were made to work night and day. It was no different here than what was done there. But yet we're proud of that, right? Being an American means you're proud of the past and the way people were treated here. You know, blacks still to this day, well, not blacks, but Africans, still feel what happened back then. They're still haunted by that, just like the Native Americans. So to say you're proud to be an American has a lot of weight behind it. Do you take responsibility for that? Do you feel like you should be responsible for that? It hasn't changed. Racism is still alive today. And even though racism is different than slavery, it ended up being combined in this country. And it never should have been. So that's one more blemish here in the United States that we're proud of, right? What about women's rights? Today in third world countries, women are still treated as objects, as possessions. They have no rights. And here in the United States, when the settlers came, it was to be free, right? So if that's the case, why would women not given the freedom? Why were they not treated as equals from the beginning? Why wouldn't they allowed to have the freedoms that men had from the beginning? If we're going to be a free society, a democratic society, then everyone has to be included, not just men, not just white men. You know, European settlers came here for a reason, and then their entire lives were a complete contradiction to the journey here. Women didn't even have the right to vote till the mid 70s. Why? Why did it take so long? You know, women are the most precious gift we have, and yet they're treated like shit for hundreds of years. And today, it's still an epidemic in this country. Women are still abused and beaten and paid less than men. To this day, women are still treated as second-class citizens, but they shouldn't be. So can we be proud of that? No, our women don't wear full gowns from head to toe to cover their bodies. And no, they're not treated like complete second-class citizens. But it's not much farther than that. And there's a lot of women out there that are still being beaten by men that think it's okay. It's not okay. It's nothing to be proud of. So being proud to be an American means you're proud of the way women have been used and abused all these years. See, when you think about a phrase and you think about what's behind it, it makes you really rethink that phrase. It really makes you rethink how you feel about it. You know, this is supposed to be the land of the free. Now, when it comes to religion, there's so many different religions here. And we're supposed to be free to speak our mind about our religion. We're supposed to be able to practice our religion freely. But yet, still in this country today, even more now, different religions are frowned upon, and different religions are treated like crap. Buildings blown up, people killed, people harassed, people protested. Why? Just because you have a different view doesn't mean you have the right to harass people. We're supposed to be free to express our feelings here, right? But yet, till this day, religion really isn't free, is it? Our freedoms of religion are still being kept under control. And it's got to stop. If we're really going to believe freedom of religion was part of why this country was built, then why is it so? Can you be proud of that? Proud that people's religious beliefs are stomped on daily? Regardless if you believe in religion or not. You could be atheist or agnostic. You still have the freedom to speak your mind and say what you believe in that. And that's what we should be proud about, is being able to have a country where we can do that without any reservations, without fear of anybody being brutal about it. But we can't. You just can't. And whether you believe in it or not, you should still respect the fact that other people have the right to feel that way. Then we have abortion and gay rights and drugs. Three more topics that are so big in this country. Three more topics in this country that have dominated news since the 70s. But why? It's a free country, right? Regardless of your religious beliefs, what you hold dear, what your personal opinion is, you have the right to say it. But to force your opinions on other people is wrong. You know, somebody believes in abortion, and that's the way they choose to treat their body and their kids. Yeah, you could probably try to bring them up on murder, manslaughter. But once that child is gone, there's no bringing it back. Once that mother's made a decision that that baby is no longer going to be alive, you know, you can do nothing more for that child. And putting the mother in jail is not going to fix it. All that's going to do is put one more person on the tab of the United States to take care of. Freedom of choice. Freedom of respecting other people's rights. Not everybody has the same religious beliefs. Not everybody has the same scientific belief that life begins with conception. Rape, incest, and, you know, those are two things that you can't stop. And the only way to keep that mother from living with that is to abort the baby for them. We should give them that respect and let them make that decision for themselves. And then gay rights. You know, people that are born gay are what they are. And if you believe in the Bible, you believe in forgiveness and compassion. And you believe in letting them make the decision for themselves about how they're going to live their lives. You can't decide for them. And whether you agree with it or not doesn't matter. They're free to live as they choose, and they should have the rights that they have. So are we proud of how we've treated abortion and gay rights in this country? Are you proud to be an American because you stood behind trying to stop people from having their freedoms? Think about it next time you say you're proud to be an American. Think about how you feel about it. You know, it's just so many different things about this country that piss people off. And the reason why is because we don't respect each other. We don't give each other the respect that we deserve. The right to live free as we choose. That's what America was supposed to be built on. Drugs are another thing. Drugs are illegal for a reason. And legalizing drugs of any kind is just going to make it worse. Because now people are going to be coming to work more screwed up than they already are. Because they can tell their boss to fuck off because it's legal for them to do drugs. I don't know about you, but I don't want somebody high on drugs working on my car. I don't want somebody high on drugs operating on my heart. I don't want somebody high on drugs taking care of my child. There's got to be a standard. There's got to be limits. If you choose to do drugs, choose to do a profession that doesn't hinder you. If you choose to do drugs, then don't put other people's lives in danger to do it. Come to work sober. It's not that difficult. You know, just because it's in somebody's system doesn't mean they're necessarily high. It just means it's a residual effect. But you as an individual that choose to do drugs are still responsible for other people's lives, and you need to keep that in mind. You have the right to do as you choose until it affects somebody else. Because we have the right to live free and safe. And if you're not going to give us that right, that respect, then you shouldn't have the same respect when it comes to your drugs. So are we proud to be Americans? It's a nice question. What's the answer? How do you feel? What is your angle on this? How do you see it? Am I way off kilter? Am I on point? I think I'm on point. My Native American side tells me this country is bullshit. What used to be in this country was peace and harmony and unentitled living. It was community, people taking care of each other, families, tribes, living off the land. It used to be free to go hunting and fishing. It used to be free to fend for yourselves and take care of your family. But it's become expensive now. You have to buy what's in the grocery stores. You have to pay for hunting licenses. You have to pay to use people's property. There's no places where you can just go and get what you need off the land and take care of your family. Unless you own a farm. And even that has become so expensive for farmers. We don't even take care of our farmers anymore. Farmers are our necessity for people that live in cities. Without farmers, there is no produce. There is no meat. There are no vegetables. There are nothing. No factories. Because without animals, the only thing we're left with is synthetic fibers. Not everybody wants to wear synthetic fibers. Are we proud of the way we've taken care of our agriculture in this country? I don't think we are. How many farmers have lost their livelihoods because of taxes or because people are stopped buying American products? How can we fend for ourselves if we don't take care of ourselves? Why do we have so much debt with other countries when we have everything we need in this country? We have technology, we have agriculture, we have everything we need here. But yet we continue to go outside this country instead of fending for ourselves. Now don't get me wrong. Italian sports cars, great. German sports cars, great. Cars are one of those things that you can say, you know what? They got it right. But everything else can be built here. Everything else we can buy here. We don't continually going into debt with other countries for stupid shit. Are we proud of our government and what it's become? As an American, we should be able to say yes. After 300 years, we should be able to look at our government and say, you know what, we've progressed well. Our government is exactly what it was meant to be. It's doing exactly what it was supposed to be doing. But that's bullshit. Our government has become a dictator. We've allowed our government to have too much power and be in control of this country instead of us controlling the country. The government is supposed to represent us, not the other way around. So I'm not proud of our government. I think it needs to be dismantled and rebuilt. It needs to be rebuilt to what it was supposed to be in the first place. All these classified documents and secrets and corruption and everything else that goes in our government was never meant to be. That's what the settlers ran from. And that's what we've become. Exactly what we ran from. So are you still proud to be an American? Can you still stand up and say that with a smile on your face? Can you really stand there and say you're proud of where we came from or where we're going? If so, let me know. Leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts about this video and how you feel. If not, what do we do about it? How do we get back to being proud to be an American? How do we get this country back on the right path? How do we get it back to where it's supposed to be? I don't know the answers, but I'm sure the hell tired of living here with all the bullshit. And I'm sure you all are too. The next video I'm going to make will probably follow this video up and look at some things we can be proud of in this country. And if you have thoughts or ideas about that, please leave them below. Let me know. If you're a friend on Facebook, you can always hit me up there. Other than that, I'll see you guys next video. Peace.